Welcome to EQN Sports, the replay. I'm Amy Wilson. I get to be joined today by four-time world champion, 19 trips to the NFR, Sherry Cervi. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to preview what's to come for the next 9 rounds and also look at round number 1 last night and talk about what happened. And then we'll get into some other things with Sherry and some of the winning you've been doing on your futurity horses. But let's start round number 1 at the NFR. So don't forget, first place pays $33,687. It pays down 6 places. Splitting that 6th place check last night, Shelly Morgan and Leslie Smalago, they were $13.84. But here's a look at the top 5. Ashley Castleberry, $13.75. Andrea Busby at $13.07. Abby Phillips, $13.63. Carly Otero, $13.55. And Haley Kinsel, first out last night, getting the win, $13.38 on Sister. We will show you a few of these runs. And one thing we wanted to point out, 3 first-timers getting in the money last night. And that's so exciting because you know the first trip down that alley, you have to be so nervous and anticipating what it's like to get to the NFR. Look at Ashley Castleberry. What do you think, Sherry?
Yeah, you know, the thing about Ashley's horse is he doesn't look like he's, doing much, and he's done that all year. He's running good in big pins and little pins, and he obviously is covering some ground. I think a really cool fact about this horse is that at one time this horse used to run to the right, and he's been switched to the left and has done really well with Ashley. And I predicted that Ashley would do good in this arena just because that horse does do really good in little pins.
Sky Blue is so cool, and the story of how she got him after just a tragic accident, it means a lot to her to get the chance to run here at the NFR. Came in number 3rd in the world and picking up a nice check last night for 6th place. So great job to Ashley Castleberry. Now we get to move on and look at Andrea Busby. I loved the blue last night, looked so nice, and Benny is so cool. He looks really fun, doesn't he?
Oh my gosh, he looks like a blast to ride, and obviously Benny's been here, but Andrea has been preparing for this moment for a long time in her career, and so, she definitely came here, I feel like, mentally prepared, and, her horses were tuned and ready to go, and, it's fun to watch great horses.
We saw Benny, of course, a lot last year, setting records with Brittany Posey Tanazi and helping her get that world championship. And Andrea and her husband, Jeff, have been working hard on their program for years and years. And to now get that chance to run at the NFR, she posted this morning, "Pinch me." It's just really like a dream for her, and it's exciting to see. So great job to Andrea Busby and Benny. They finished 5th last night at 13.7. Abby Phillips, also a first-timer to the national finals this year, 13.63. So she picked up a 4th place check. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, this mare is so cool. She's not very old. I think she's 6 or 7. And Abby trained her, which I think makes this her being here at the NFR honor even more special. And, she has a great name, Andy Anderson. I think that's awesome. And I went to Northside about 3 weeks ago and ran barrels. Abby, Ashley, Andrea, Linda Johnson, Shelly Morgan were there running. And so, all these girls have been preparing to run in this little pen. And, I think it was a great barrel race last night. I think that at any time, any of the top 15 can win first. There's definitely the horsepower there. And I think it's going to be, really fun to watch. And I think I think there's going to be a lot of girls that are should stay in the average, this year.
We see how close she gets to that 3rd barrel. The girls, of course, get a chance to get in the arena and work their horses a few different mornings. How much is that going to help to keep this one being honest and doing what she wants?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Any of the horses that get tight in there, after, you start making several runs in a row in the same pins. So the fact that you can get in there, I think it's every other day. And, this mare's young, and, I think it's imperative that being able to work your horses through the week helps them stay consistent.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we know that they drop 2 each night, so that is how they will alternate on the ground and the draw. Let's take a look at Cassie Mowry. So I wanted to show this run because obviously Cassie is amazing, and Jarvis is the horse of the year. And yesterday on the stage at the WPRA luncheon, we were all in tears with her. It's been such a hard year for her, and she's here at the finals, made it with going to 27 rodeos, which is just incredible, but Cassie's style, of course. Just gets this first barrel. What do you think of this run?
I mean, I think that Cassie's going to make that same run several times, except she's going to get around him. This horse is really, really fast. He's so consistent, and smooth running. Cassie is it's not going to happen, I don't think, very, very often in here. And it's just, one more step, forward, and she would have got around it. And so, just when you're trying to win first every night, it happens. But I think her and Jarvis are going to do really, really well. She's already proved that in the years past that this horse is consistent, and this horse does good in the big pins and the little pins. And he even kind of had a little trouble right there at the ground and still clocked really good. And so
we wanted to show this 13.3. Of course, that barrel went down, but that's what she clocked. And we just saw her at Northside right before we came to Vegas, and it was just absolute perfection. And that's what we come to expect from Cassie. So exciting things to come in the next 9 rounds, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's look at the winner, and I know you're excited about this one. Haley Kinsel on Sister at 13.38. Tell us about this horse and the connections she has to you.
Well, Sisters by Dinero that my dad owned, and this mare is incredible. I don't know that we'll see another horse like this, for several years. She is so good on any type of ground and pattern. Haley does an amazing job having this mare ready and picking and choosing where she's going to run her. She had her, I feel like, really finely tuned come in here the first round. The fact that she won the first round, I don't think is a shock to anybody. And the cool thing about this mare is that she just gets better with every run. And it's exciting to watch, and that mare is obviously very special, and I think. Yeah,
she holds the arena record at 13.11. We've also come to expect that head shake as she says, "I'm ready to roll down the alley."
I feel like when she does the head shake, that means that she's going to be really fast.
Yeah, no doubt. So exciting to see. Obviously, number 1 in the world, Haley Kinsel. So she got to go first last night, and 13.38 to get the win, and that paid $33,687. So just extended her lead a little bit. It's so exciting to see. Looking down this list of top 15, another congratulations to all the ladies who battled it out all year and made it here to the national finals. You've been here 19 times. Explain what that feeling is like, running down the alley, all the different years you've been here at the finals. What can you say about it?
It definitely never gets old. It's an unbelievable feeling. This is what little girls dream of. I dreamed of it when I was little, and you just have to enjoy the moment while it's happening. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of adrenaline in the air, but a lot of sacrifices to be made to get here. And those girls, all have worked really hard, and it was fun.
Yeah, exactly. When we talk about barrel racing, we always talk about ground. Of course, Randy is there, and the last couple of years that I've been there, I've stood next to the fence next to him, and he's made notes, and he does everything he can to make it as good as he can. Over the years, I know they've changed the dirt and they've done different things. Anything you can add about that?
Yeah, it's huge difference. If you go back and watch the old videos, it was survive the ground. And what I think is really cool about the ground now is it lets those horses, do their thing. They're not having to be safety up and worry about very many slips. And what you can't see on TV is that they're hand raking after every girl. Mm-hmm. And the fact that is happening at the NFR is a really big milestone. And, a hand rake is not as good as a tractor drive, but it is huge. And, I think that shows, we're coming with the times, and committees are getting more and more aware of how important the ground is for the barrel racing, and the longevity of their horses. And so I think that the ground here at the NFR in the last few years has been amazing, and it makes it good watching.
Yeah, very true. Yesterday at the WPRA luncheon, they recognized the top 3 rodeos and the most improved rodeo, according to their ground, the best footing awards at the WPRA luncheon, and thank them for that. Also, the stock contractor of the year and others who play such a big part in making sure that the ground is great for these horses. And there was even a comment made about how they know what these horses cost and their value and how important they are and how much they're loved. And it's important to have the ground as good as possible for all of them. I'm also curious, over 10 rounds, how do you not only survive but thrive, keeping your horses working good, all the different commitments that they have here? What kind of advice do you have for any of the girls or maybe those wanting to make it here?
Have a good team around you. You know, it doesn't happen without that. And, you know, somebody that can be with your horses and helping you take care of them while you have those obligations to make. And, that's the really cool. I've had, a great team behind me through the years, and knowing that your horse is well taken care of is, a huge, it eases your mind, while you're having to do other things. And, I think that you can get caught up in the time and having to be different places and not really enjoying the process. But you have to look at, like this is just, you're gonna meet and greet a lot of people, and you have obligations, and probably not a lot of sleep, but it's only for 10 days.
Yeah, you can sleep when you get home.
Exactly.
Take us back through the 19 years you made the finals. Of course, everyone knows and loves Stingray, but some of the other horses that you rode over the years and just what you remember, some of those special moments that stick out.
Yeah, I made it here the first year on Troubles, the gray horse, and he was so consistent, and he didn't really like to be petted, but he taught me to be a winner, really. And then there was Hawk, and just a really cool little bay horse. And Hawk is related to Stingray. His mom and Stingray's mom were 3/4 sisters, and so that's the reason why we bought Stingray's mom, is because of Hawk, and then we bought Dinero because of Bozo, and my dad had a vision and stuck to it. And that's the thing that I admire about him, is that in the nowadays the breeding is it's a whole different game than it was 20 years ago, but he had his bloodlines that he loved and he believed in, and he stayed the course, and we're going to see it with those offspring that he has had a part in putting together. And Dinero has between 2 horses 6 gold buckles by him of offspring, and so that's pretty cool as a breeder to be able to say that. And I'm happy for my dad.
Yeah. So well deserved, and it had such a huge impact on the whole industry. Of course, Stingray gave you a lot of wins, but she's a little bit stingy with the babies, right?
Yeah, she is. I've been getting some embryos out of her the last several years, and trying. She doesn't have very many colts on the ground, but the ones that she does are really good. She is stingy with them, and she also just gives mostly boys. So there's more stud colts out there than there is the fillies. But getting to see those stud colts, her oldest one is Phil the Sting, and so his colts are now I think their oldest is maybe 7, and his offspring are doing amazing things in the arena. And her legacy will live on for so many years, and that is the most important thing. That mare, I will never be able to probably express the gratitude I have for her and what she's done for me, but what she's going to do for other people in the industry is really cool.
She's 21 years old now, and it hasn't been that long ago. I saw her back off the trailer heading from one state to another, and she just still has that air about her that she's a queen, isn't she?
She knows that I tell her that every day. She is the most important thing on our place, as far as horses, and everybody that's there that takes care of them knows that she, whatever she wants, she can have.
That's so cool. Well, speaking of the studs, let's talk about the ones that you have, and then also the partnership with High Point.
So Corey and I own 3 studs. We own a Lone Drifter, and he goes back on the bottom side. He has Sunfrost, and he's by my dad's old driftwood stud, Lone Drifter. And then we have MP Dinero's Wood Patch, and he is a son of Dinero out of a Leia Patch mare. And then there's MP King George. and he is out of Stingray by Dash to Fame, and High Point and I are partners on him, and he's 5 coming 6, and so getting to start to think about his breeding career is fun, and anytime I get to ride a colt that's out of Stingray is a blessing.
Yeah, very cool. So if you want more information on those stallions, you can look that up. High Point loves other animals as much as you do. Talk about the other animals that you have, and some I think that you got from them, right?
Yeah. I feel like Dan at High Point is his. I want to be at his level one day because he has the really cool exotic animals like the giraffe and the.
I bet Corey's excited for this.
Yeah, I told him I wanted a giraffe barn for Christmas 10 years ago, and I still haven't got it.
He's still working on that.
Still working on it. But, I just have some ducks and chickens and peacocks and a few cats.
A few cats. I have actually carried crates and crates of cats to a trailer when that horrible wildfire in Texas was going, and you weren't home, and so a few people gathered up and were just going to be ready to evacuate if needed. And you have a lot of cats.
I do. Yep. I am probably the crazy cat lady, but my animals, I've always loved animals. Mm-hmm. And my dad, when I was growing up, I think kind of kept me in check, and I only got to have a few. And so when I was old enough to make my own decisions, it's like game on. And so, it's fun, and Corey's a good sport about it, and helps me get them from place to place, and has really good carriers for them and stuff. And High Point also, they gave me 3 fancy chickens, I call them, because they're not just the common chickens. They're I think like Satin Silky and a Frizzle and a Silky, and their names are Jacelyn, Danielle, and Charlene. Oh. And they're I call them my golden girls because they're kind of sassy.
I think that's amazing. What a cool gift. Yeah. Speaking of getting from place to place, explain how that works for you and Corey and the different places that you have, because it's a lot to kind of switch homes throughout the year.
Yes, I don't know why we sometimes do this, but Arizona's home, but we spend a lot of time in Texas because if you are a barrel racer or a team roper, that's where the events are. And so we go to Texas for a few months, and then my dad's businesses are in Wisconsin, and Corey and I have really been trying to step up and help with that. And so we run yearlings in the summer. So we move 3 times, twice a year. And no man left behind, so my animals get to go each place. But this last summer, Corey and I went back out on the road and rodeoed a little bit, and so they all just kind of stayed in one place, and they didn't get moved as much. But it's a caravan, and it's a process, and there's a word for it that that I'm probably insane for, but
that's okay. You love it, and we're glad that you do. I did want to mention before I let you go, and I know Corey's roping, and so you're going to go watch him do that. The Breeders' Challenge. I know that was such a special win on MP Meter My Fame, right? And Yep. You were able to call your dad and tell him about that. Kind of relive Yep. that moment.
So this mare, she's out of Stingray. She's 5, but her and King George are the same age. And I've been fraternity on her all year. Sure, I've never really full-time devoted making sure that I went to the fraternities ever, and this year I did. And she's just a really special horse. I can't take credit for what she can do because she just wanted to run barrels, but I've been telling my dad, all year, he'd say, well, how'd you do? And, when I'd say I won 4th or 5th, and he'd be like, oh, okay, because my dad winning first is what it's about. And he kept saying, are you sure that you think this mare is good enough? And I'm like, yeah, I think she is. And also her barn name is Principessa, and he can't say that. So he'd always be like, how'd that fancy named horse do? And so I'd be like, oh, she did good. And so at the Breeders' Challenge, we ended up winning it. And I got to call him and say, well, we finally won first, and that was a very special moment because my dad doesn't get to go out and watch as much, but he loves his horses, and that is his passion. And so the fact that he's raised another good one is pretty special to me.
Oh, it's so special. Well, Sherry, this has been fun to recap all of this. Before I let you go, also just kind of a preview of the next 9 rounds. Any predictions?
I think that you're going to see Cassie is going to get around the barrels really fast. I think Haley's going to stay real consistent. And then, some of those other girls that maybe weren't as fast, I think that they've got that first run, under their belt. And that, I don't know. I think that anytime anybody can win around, I think Latricia Duke's horse is going to do real good in here. That's a really nice stud. And I also think Wenda Johnson's horse is real fast. And when she nails the first barrel, I think that he's going to be fast too.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to watch it all. I just got confirmation that Emily will be riding Chongo tonight. So she's switching and should be third on the ground because they rotate too. So some news that you get, the WPRA releases that every day and tells us which horses the girls are riding. Of course, they all have backups. And so it'll be fun to watch. We can't wait to see what happens. Sherry, thank you so much for coming up.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That's Sherry Cervi, 4-time world champion, 19 trips she's made here to the NFR. I'm Amy Wilson. This has been the replay on EQN Sports, talking all things barrel racing and wishing the girls the best of luck over the next 9 rounds before we crown that world champion. And we can't wait to see it all. Thanks for joining us.